G'day and welcome to a new video. Awesome to be back for 2024. Heaps of projects coming up. Looking forward to taking you on the ride. It's going to be a lot of fun. Starting off with a good project for today. I am here recording this on the 9th of January. The last video I recorded around about the 20th of December. So I'll catch you up on sort of what's been happening in the last 3 weeks or so. Because you can see in the background here, this lawn is looking just a little bit dodgy. Now, if you did watch that previous video, I think I mentioned at some point about potentially using plant growth regulator to slow down the growth before I went away on holidays. I decided against that because of the work that I'm about to be doing today. I didn't want to have that growth regulator in the soil. So what happened was I gave it its final mow, I think on the 28th of December. So only 2 or so weeks ago, I gave it a mow before we went away, and it was a bit of a lower cut down to about 18 mil. And that was, I hadn't mowed it for 5 days in that period. So chopped a bit down there, looked a bit dodgy, and I got some granular fertilizer out. Even though we just had a heap of rain, put out some granular and had to water that in, which hurt my soul a little bit, having to water in a product when we'd just had so much rain, but I couldn't time the application with the rain. So I got that down, so that's been there working. We got home from holidays on Saturday. When we got home, I brought the rotary mower out to just give it a quick trim, cut it at 30 mil with that rotary mower, and basically over the last, or the month to 5 weeks previous to when we got back from holidays, there'd been a fair amount of inconsistent mowing. I think I talked in that last video about being in hospital with my son. So, you know, just inconsistent mowing, all those sorts of things. It's gotten a bit out of hand a couple of times now. And so that means that I haven't been able to keep up that regular mowing to keep it at a nice maintainable height. And it's just got out of hand on me, especially after going away on that holiday and not touching it for about 9 days or something like that. So that was the rotary cut on the Saturday. On the Sunday, I came out and you can see some faint stripes going straight up and down here because I gave it a cylinder cut at 18 mil again on the Sunday. Planning ahead for today where I'm going to be ripping into it a little bit more again. And now people who might be watching this thinking, mate, you just did a whole renovation, as if you need to be doing and cutting it back down again, as if it's already gotten thick again. I think a good analogy that I thought of, the way to think of it, is like when you get a haircut. You go to the barber, whatever it is, you get your haircut, and the moment you leave, your hair is growing again and you're getting closer to your next haircut. Same with your lawn. As soon as you do a renovation, it's growing again. You start mowing, you're getting more thatch, and you're getting closer to your next renovation again. So especially if you want to maintain with a cylinder mower, you know, at a decently low height. Mine's not as low as many others out there, but if you want to be using a cylinder, you want a nice, true, clean surface that's not spongy and thatchy. You need to be doing some ongoing work. So the plan for today is to be thinning this out a bit, chopping away some sponginess. I'm going to be doing some work on my trenches because that needs to get done. So today I'm going to be starting off proceedings with a 15mm cut with the MowMaster. Now 15 mil is going to look a little bit gross today and a little bit scalpy, and that's purely because of the fact that it's been allowed to get a bit out of hand. But come March, I'm going to be maintaining at around about 12 mil for a little bit, just for a change. Not looking too bad after that cut at 15 mil. Definitely cutting into those stolons a little bit in some places where it has got a bit thicker, and those roots, those stolons are growing on top of each other just a little bit. Now, I did just before forget to give my full recap. I'm obviously a bit out of practice recording videos, aren't I? So I applied that granular fertilizer, and then 4 or so days later, we had 28 mil of rain, ton of rain. And then today being Tuesday, Sunday, we had 49 mil of rain. Yesterday we had 36 mil of rain, so 85 mils on here since I did that lower cut on Sunday at 18 mil, which I did talk about before. So sorry, a little bit all over the place, but hopefully it'll all come together in the video all right. But yeah, so I've cut that cut in now at 15 mil, and there are little bits out here where it is a bit yellow on some of the leaves, and it's clearly very waterlogged from, look, really, we've been getting a lot of rain pretty much since the start of October. So much for El Nino, so much for the hot and dry summer that we were expected to have, because I can probably think of 5 or 6 days over 30 this season, and we've been getting tons of rain and big rain. You can see some patches where you can sort of see, even just right here is a bit of a wet spot, and you can see some of my footprints that it's looking a little muddy there. So look, it's not ideal, but I really want to get this lawn looking good for in 2.5 weeks time, and we've got Hottest 100 party here. If you know, you know. But yeah, gonna roll on now, grab the scarifier to get thinning out. Yeah, I think some of that yellowing down in the canopy, there is, you know, it's looking a little bit on the verge of fungal disease, which is not ideal, but probably to be expected with the volume of rain. And I do have quite a heavy soil, which I've spoken about a lot in the past. So it is gonna hold on to moisture a bit more, which is a good thing in certain instances, but in sometimes it's not. And I'm constantly, well, I'm planning on a lot of core aeration, top dressing with sand, to work on that. But now what I'm gonna be doing to thin out the canopy of this lawn, because that thickness and that sponginess that I've been mentioning, it's something that can stop nutrients penetrating down into the soil, but it also can just make the mower a bit wobbly and float around. That's something especially towards the end of winter that you start to see is controlling the mower becomes difficult, and holding straight stripes, especially diagonally, is my longest runs. I actually probably across on that side, my straight runs on that side are somewhere in the vicinity of 25-30 meters. So trying to hold straight stripes that people on the internet love to criticize is hard work, especially if the lawn is thatchy and spongy. So thinning it out with this or a machine like this, I'm using my Scarifying that's got these vertical blades on it, which dig down vertically to dig out thatch. I'm not necessarily using it for that today. I'm more so thinning out canopy of the lawn, thinning out some of this thickness and that layering of stolons and of the actual grass blades to just open it up and let it breathe, which is something where essentially for the next week our forecast is looking really, really nice. So the mixture of all the moisture that's in this soil, as well as the above heat that's coming, is going to be great to dry out and to sort out hopefully this fungal, you know, dampness that's in this grass at the moment, as well as, yeah, opening it up, thinning it out is going to be great. And the other thing that it does, using a machine like this, ideally people are sitting there going, get a verticutter, use a verticutter. I'd love a verticutter. I think it's probably a bit of a foregone conclusion that I will own a verticutter at some point in the next, I don't know, few years, given how much I love my lawn and everything like that. But I don't have a verticutter right now. I do have this Scarifying, which is more aggressive and different blade setup to a verti, but it's still better than nothing. So yeah, what I'm doing is using this on the highest setting, so it is not ripping right down. When it's on that lowest setting, it is absolutely annihilating the grass and really ripping up material, hitting into the soil. I'm going to be using it up on this highest setting and just letting those blades nick into the canopy of the grass. So when it runs over, you really can't notice too much that it's been there, but it is just going to be digging up. Oh, you can see I have got some sand that's come through in that, so I'm just hitting the soil surface through this 15mm cut in this nicking the ground, which I'm quite happy with. And this is something, you know, a lot of people have got these Scarifyers and the verticutting. It's something to have into your schedule. Some guys will be doing it every 3 weeks or so. They'll be going and doing a verticut or thinning out the canopy like this throughout the growing season. You don't necessarily have to do a lower cut along with it. You could just come out one day when you're due for a mow, run over it with your verti or with your Scarifier up on that really high setting. Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not coming across at all like I'm saying verti and using this Scarifier in this way is basically the same thing, because it's not. They are different sorts of machines that work in different sorts of ways, but it's a similar-ish kind of result. We're getting there where we want to go, but you know, it's pretty similar. It's similar enough, and for me today and with what I'm trying to achieve, it's going to help me get there. So let's do that. Oh, and also the catcher. Normally with these, I recommend if you are heavily Scarifying your lawn as part of a renovation, do not use the catcher, waste of time. With doing a thin out like this, I actually do recommend, and I personally find it easier to leave this catcher on, and it can be actually quite handy in this situation, not for a number one heavy proper Scarify of your lawn. Also, here are those clippings from that 15mm cut, and just really nice leaf of the grass that's been given a really nice cylinder cut. And then that is the verticut, where we're actually digging down vertically into that soil a bit more to pull out those roots, those stolons a little bit more. You know, something that I have been finding quite entertaining over the last few days, I've got a reel up on Instagram at the moment, which is getting quite a lot of views, and with that, quite a lot of stupid comments. It tends to happen with things that get a lot of views, and there's so many comments on there from people saying about using earmuffs with a battery mower, because that first mow on Sunday was a battery mow. It's like, have you heard of Bluetooth podcasts? I don't know. Mate, am I really smart? Are people really dumb? I don't know. Audio receiver died around this stage, but all I was talking about here was how that Scarify had really fluffed up the grass really nicely. So this second 15mm cut I was giving it was making it a really clean cut. I was emptying the catcher about every 4 passes up and down. So yeah, taking out a lot more material, thinning it out really well, which was great. What I got done after this was I scalped over the top of my trenches and around my trenches to allow space for the leveling rake to go across there nicely, so that I could backfill those a little bit and level those out, because when I did the backfilling of those trenches, it's, you know, it's just sunk down a little bit over time, which is annoying, and it's bumpy when I mow over the top of it. So I've been wanting to do this for a little while, and it really highlights how low these trenches are because of how green it is after I've cut down the rest of the lawn. So those lower points, that's something when you do scalp or cut back your lawn, those points that are the greenest, they're normally the lowest. Something you might have remembered me complaining about in the past before as well is the performance of this rotary mower. Something I did was took a hammer and I just smacked the bottom of it, or the front part of the mower, to do a little bit of panel beating there, because I think in previous scalps that was digging into the actual grass and making it really difficult to scalp. And this mow here, it helps that my lawn is a lot more level when I'm trying to do this little scalp here, but it was a breeze. So something that's probably a bit silly on me, and I wish I had thought of a long time ago. Rightio, got most of the job finished for today, and I'm really happy with what I've gotten done. I must say I was over the moon about the performance of that rotary mower, because yeah, I've been dreading future scalps and thinking, do I need to get a new mower? Bit of a probably silly moment, not thinking to do that bit of panel beating work to knock it out, with the front being the issue of getting bogged in the lawn on previous times. But yeah, really happy with how that worked. I obviously went wide on either side of the trench to allow space for that leveling rake to come through. So I've spread all the sand, or 95% of the sand, and I've leveled off little bits of it. Got to go now pick up the kids and whatnot, so I'm gonna finish that off tomorrow. So you've been watching some overlaid clips in that of me doing some of that work tomorrow morning. Hopefully you're also seeing me liquid fertilize. I'm probably aiming to get back out here and mow at 20 or 25 mil in about 3 days time on Friday. So get straight back into it. Even if on Friday I'm only just clipping the top off, that's fine. I want to be mowing a minimum twice a week. That regular mowing, super important. And overall, this lawn, having done this work to thin it out, it's going to make it a lot more enjoyable to mow. It's going to look a lot nicer. It's going to rebound beautifully in terms of just the overall look of the lawn. Especially on this center trench, it's going to be really nice to be mowing across here and not having that bump and that divot on the way through. And yeah, look, couple of weeks I reckon, and we'll be absolutely kicking goals out here. The trenches maybe not 100% recovered in a couple of weeks, but it'll be fine. It'll be kicking along really well. So anyway, thank you for watching that video. Maybe not my most polished video, but you know, there's been a little bit of a break. So anyway, please subscribe and like and all that sort of stuff. If you did enjoy it, helps, is appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.